Here we go again. Okay, so in front of me we have the AirPods Max 2. These are the long-awaited successor to the AirPods Max, obviously, and they're very, very good. They're much better than the previous generation. And I also have the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra 2s, which I described as a sensible mid-season refresh. Not that much different to the previous generation, but still very good. Now, I have compared the AirPods Max 2 against the Sony XM6 already. If you haven't seen that video yet, we'll put a link at the end of this video, but another very common request I've had for comparisons with the AirPods Max 2 is the Bose. Is there a winner? It's not quite as simple as that. The question for me isn't which is better, apart from in certain areas. We do need to confirm that. But overall, it is which pair is right for you. So let's get into it. By the way, do you like my new t-shirt? Okay, specs and pricing. They're two very different pairs of headphones, and I have put together a very useful comparison chart here, which we'll put in front of you now and you can screenshot and do what you like with it. The things that are interesting, the AirPods Max 2 are more expensive. The Bluetooth is different, so the Bluetooth on the AirPods Max 2 is 5.3 and it's 5.4 on the Bose QC Ultra 2s. The AirPods Max 2 are a lot heavier. The AirPods Max 2 have 10 hours less battery life. They both have USB-C lossless audio support, which is fantastic. They both have on-head detection. That's important. Some headphones don't have that. That's when you take the headphones off and the music stops and you put them back on and it continues. I like that. Let's just get into the comparison. Let's talk about the design, the audio, and the noise cancelling, and do one of my famous mic tests. Most of us use AI tools these days, but one of the biggest complaints I have is that you need to jump between 5 different apps to get anything done. Abacus AI Deep Agent solves that problem. Abacus AI Deep Agent is essentially one place to do everything. We're talking building full apps with hosting, a database, and Stripe payments in a single prompt. No, really. Or automating repetitive tasks like lead generation and creating deep research reports and presentations that actually look professional. It's got every major AI model built in: ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Grok, so you're never locked into one single model. It's the kind of AI tool that genuinely changes how much you can get done on your own. And the basic plan starts at just $10 a month. The link's in the description. Go and see what you can create. The design. It's very different. So the AirPods Max 2, just like the AirPods Max 1, are very premium looking and feeling. We have aluminium, we have these beautiful extendable arms, and they do that, which is annoying, but you can't deny they're incredibly premium in terms of build quality and just everything about them. Also, if I just turn on transparency mode so I can hear myself, if you don't have any hair, like myself, they just look better than most headphones because they sit nice and tight against your head. The depth of the ear cups is pretty shallow, if that's the right word, which I do like. By comparison, the Bose QC Ultra 2s, they stick out a bit more because they have stopped talking to me. They talk to you a lot, these headphones. The cups are fairly deep compared to these, so they stick out a little bit more. Also, these include more plastic than the AirPods Max 2. That said, unlike the Sony XM6, which I do like, I love these headphones, I do love them, but in comparison with the AirPods Max 2, they look a bit plasticky. These don't look quite as plasticky as that. They look and feel a bit more premium. They do have some metal on them, which helps, and they've got this very premium feeling leather. The weight, it's different. So the AirPods Max 2 are a heavy pair of headphones. It's never bothered me personally, but I know it bothers certain people, and that's why it's worth covering. So if you do a lot of this or that kind of thing with your headphones, these are much heavier than these, and long listening sessions, arguably, you're going to get away with these better than you are these because they might just fatigue because they're heavy, potentially. But that's the trade-off with the premium build quality over the Bose and lots of other headphones on the market. If you want them to look like this, they're probably going to be heavy. The Bose are very comfortable. They are one of the most comfortable pairs of over-ear noise-cancelling headphones I've ever used, and they don't have that same thing as the AirPods Max in terms of moving around on your head. They're incredibly comfortable. Let's talk about the case, because I'm obsessed with headphone cases. This is the AirPods Max case. It's called is it called the Smart Case? I always forget what it's called. It is called the Smart Case. And what it does, when you put the AirPods Max into it, because they don't have a power button, it puts them into an ultra low power mode, so it saves the battery. That works very well. However, it's nothing like this, which is the Bose case. The Bose case, because the headphones fold up properly, like that, it means the case can be a decent size for your backpack or wherever you're putting it. Now, over the last couple of years, I've learned and I've been told quite forcibly in the comments that a lot of people don't use headphone cases. They take the headphones out, they chuck them in the bag, and they don't think about it. I don't do that. I like to keep my headphones as pristine as possible, which means a case like this is preferable. Preferable? I prefer cases like this compared to cases like this because they offer more protection. However, I get the impression that Apple went for this because they know that a lot of people don't use headphone cases, so they're giving you the best of both worlds. It's not bulky at all, and it protects most of the headphones themselves. So again, it's up to you which one you prefer. For me, it's that, but you might prefer that. I have no idea. Okay, the other thing is controls. The AirPods Max 2 are the best on the market because Apple has proved again that you only need two buttons. You need a button for noise cancelling / transparency mode and a digital crown for volume and the play controls. That's all you need. You don't need touch controls. Bose, just like Sony, have got halfway there because we do have buttons. We have a button for the power and for the noise cancelling modes and for play as well, but the volume is done via this touch control surface here, and is that it? That might be it, to be fair. So they're a bit better than Sony in that respect. They're not relying too much on touch controls, but the gold standard of headphone controls is still Apple. Right, let's talk about the sound. The AirPods Max 2 have a new amp, they have a rebuilt DSP, and they have the H2 chip, which means they sound better than the previous generation. They're a very good sounding pair of headphones, really good. The Bose QC Ultra 2s aren't any different really from the previous generation when it comes to the audio. It's just a little bit different, a little bit better. However, when you A/B test these two, for me, if I had to pick a winner, it would be the Bose. The Bose are just a little bit more controlled. They're both very bright sounding headphones in a nice way, but the Bose just have a bit more control, and you get more, in fact, you get EQ options for the Bose. You don't really get EQ options for any of Apple's headphones or earbuds. You get these presets that you can choose from. So you get more control overall with the Bose, and just for my ears, the Bose sound a bit better. But it's fairly fine margins. They both have a very wide sound stage. They've both got fantastic mid-range and a very, very detailed instrument separation thing going on. And the bottom end, the sub bass and anything that is, thumping or burbling along is just pleasant to listen to. You won't be disappointed with either. And they both have lossless over USB-C, which is fantastic. When it comes to spatial audio, they both have that kind of head tracked thing going on, and the AirPods Max 2 are still the best on the market. So if you watch a lot of movies and TV shows, these are the ones to go for. But then the cinema mode on these is very good as well. Oh, it's fine margins. Noise cancelling. I'm laughing. I often laugh in some of these comparison videos, which might be annoying, but the reason I do it is I can't help myself. I'm getting to the point now where I am comparing such tiny differences with this sort of stuff, and it's a wonderful place to be. It's a wonderful thing, a wonderful problem to have. It's not even a problem. If you buy either of these headphones based on the noise cancelling, you are going to be delighted. If I A/B test the two, a little bit like the audio performance, the AirPods Max 2 are just a bit better. They just have less, what's the best way of putting it? They don't feel quite as artificial in terms of noise cancelling. It's a little bit like the comparison between the AirPods Max 2 and the XM6. It was a very similar thing there. In fact, that gap is a little bit less between these two. The Bose are, I think, far closer to the AirPods Max 2 in terms of noise cancelling than the XM6. But again, you have to really A/B test the two. Put one pair on, take them off, put the other pair on. No one does that at all. The big difference for me is the transparency mode. AirPods Max 2 are the best on the market. This is when you let the outside world in, so you can hear your surroundings and you can hear yourself talk. It's very important from my point of view. The AirPods Max and the AirPods Pro have been the best on the market for years and years. I don't know what Apple is doing. I think they must be employing the only people in the world who know how to do this at its absolute best. Apple has those people on its payroll and they will not leave. That said, again, the Bose are so close, that rhymes, as were the XM6. In fact, the Bose and the XM6 are the closest over-ear headphones when it comes to transparency mode to the AirPods Max than any other. However, there's one other test which I find fascinating, because a little inside baseball thing here, I don't know the result of it until I watch this video myself, if that makes sense. So I wait to see how good this part of the comparison is at the same time as you. It's the mic test. Let's head outside. Okay, let's start with the Bose QC Ultra 2. This is my normal test, walking down a road with a little bit of wind hitting the ear cups. It's not very windy today, to be fair, so it's not one of those tests, but we can definitely judge. Firstly, the transparency. I can tell you what that's like. It's very good on these, very impressive. But it's the mic I want to know from you in terms of which is better. So this is the Bose QC Ultra 2s. Car coming past, see how it deals with that. Let's switch to the AirPods Max 2. And this is the AirPods Max 2. Car just went past. Again, not much wind at all. But straight away, another car going past. Straight away, the transparency mode is better. Not massively. The Bose are very good, but the AirPods Max 2 are still class leading. But it's the mic. And I happen to know from my previous comparisons against the XM6 and the previous generation AirPods Max that the AirPods Max 2 mic is rather special. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think, and back to me in the studio. Time for the conclusion, which is very straightforward. If you are an Apple person and you have the budget for it, get the AirPods Max 2. They are fantastic. If you're not an Apple person, or you kind of flip between Apple and Windows and all sorts of other different things, and you want to spend less money but still have a superb pair of noise-cancelling headphones, get the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra 2s or the Sony XM6. You will be absolutely delighted. They're fantastic. Which ones would I pick? You know the answer to that. These, because I'm an Apple fanboy. Joking apart, I'm ensconced in the Apple ecosystem, so these make more sense. And I have no hair, and they look better on my head. It's as simple as that. Guys, it's over to you. Get involved in the comments. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, you know what to do. See you down there.